So today we are back with Solomon, and Ecclesiastes was associated with Solomon, which is why we had a little detour there. Now we're back with Solomon and all the stuff he did while he was king. You may remember that the way this has worked so far in terms of God having somewhere to live is when the Israelites were wandering around in Exodus, God got them to build a tent, a tabernacle it was called, and he would live in that tent with the Ark of the Covenant. And then over the years, he's continued to live in this tabernacle. And then a little while ago, David realized that God was living in this tent when he was living in a palace, and that couldn't be right. And he decided to build a temple for God. And then God said to him, no, that's for your son Solomon to do that. So this is where we're reading. Solomon is wanting to build the temple, and then he goes ahead and does it. And one of the things that I noticed from this passage is just how excellently Solomon sets out to build this temple. I mean, this temple is the bomb. It has got gold, it has got silver, it has got the best wood that he sources from this other king, King Hiram. He gets him to send all the really good wood down there so he can make a seriously nice temple for God. It's not made of IKEA furniture, this temple, and I have a lot of IKEA furniture. I have nothing against IKEA furniture, but this is bespoke stuff. This is like the kind of furniture you see on Made in Chelsea. This is expensive. And what does that mean? Why not just sort of build a little shed for God to live in out of a few bricks? Well, because you love God, you want to build him the best possible house. That's it in a nutshell. And we've been reading Corinthians, and in Corinthians it says that we are God's temple. Our bodies are God's temple. And that has implications. God doesn't live in a physical building somewhere anymore. He lives inside me, and he lives inside you. And a question that we should ask ourselves as a consequence of that is, how are we looking after God's temple today? How are we looking after the bodies that he has given to us today? And all of us have bodies after a fashion. Some of us have health restrictions and health limitations, but we all have bodies. And as far as we are able, we should be taking care of them. I think that's something just to be, it's no more, it sounds like common sense, but actually it's deeply connected with our walk with Jesus. Let's take about one thing that physically affects all of us, being tired, for example. I don't know about you, but when I am tired, I am less loving, I am less kind, I am less joyful, I am less patient, I am less disciplined, I'm less self-controlled. All of the things that I'm encouraged to be in the Bible, particularly the fruits of the Spirit, there's nothing that shoots them in the foot more than my being knackered. So one of the things I've realised over the last little while is I have to really make sure that I have rest. I have to make sure that I'm trying to eat reasonably well. I have to make sure that, for me, I love to exercise and that I can do that so that I'm, again, just physically in a good place. Because if I'm physically well, I'm better able to serve God. And again, some of us have health limitations, so it isn't about that. It's just as much as we are able, let's look after the bodies, the temples that God has given us, that we might serve him well.